Hello everyone, this video we're going to talk about the rudder and through mastering the rudder will minimize drag and maximize performance. Also, it will make you a safer pilot. Understanding the rudder is vital to stall and spin avoidance, which is where most attention to rudder coordination training is focused today. This airstrip is quite challenging. It is pretty short. We have high density altitude. It's marble in Idaho. On my first landing I came above the high trees. They were very tall. And on my second landing I do this around the hill. And what I try to do is be coordinated. Trying to come at a very slow speed. And it is very important, especially when you're coming slow, to be coordinated if you're doing any turns. Here is a view of the turn just before landing. Same airstrip. Try to come coordinated. This is Dogleg gravel bar in Washington. When you come from the bridge, it is pretty challenging because you have to do a very slow, sharp turn before landing. It is a must to do this turn coordinated. Complete view of the same landing. The slip indicator, I try to keep the ball in the center. Very important for this kind of landing. Try to do this kind of turn slow and uncoordinated will lead to a spin. We can see the small rudder movements just before touching down. Same landing, Dogleg gravel bar in Washington. Again, same gravel bar, now on the Cessna 170. We need to use more rudder on this airplane, lead with rudder on the turn. It has more adverse yaw. The Cessna 170 can fly a lot slower than the 182, about 10 miles an hour slower on approaches. So it's a bit easier in this kind of landing. I think I have a great tool to help flying the rudder. Is a mini slip indicator I put above the dash. The idea came from a flight simulator, IL-2. I've been flying simulators before real airplanes, so I'm a fan of those. And I saw that the P-47 has a mini slip indicator just in the gun sight. You can see it here. So I say, why not adding this to real airplanes? So you fly the rudder looking outside. In the most critical moment, if you're going to get in trouble because of rudder, you have to be looking outside, and this will make you fly looking outside. For example, here I'm doing a couple of canyon turns in the Cessna 182. You can see the mini slip indicator above the instrument panel. So I do all this looking outside. You don't want to be doing slow turns, sharp turns, and look inside the cockpit. The good thing about the mini slip indicator is that at the end it will teach you to fly the rudder and you will get used to it, and then you just look at it to confirm. But if it is in your side of view, you will get used to the feeling of being coordinated or uncoordinated because you see it all the time. Of course, this tool is not needed and everybody flies without it, but what I'm trying to do is preventing a spin from a slow speed stall during turns, like happen base to final sometimes to some pilots. So on airplanes like the 182, you can do slips with full flaps. This can be useful like when you have very tall obstacles like these tall trees in Red Horse Ranch in Oregon. In the 182 with 40 degrees of flaps and doing a slip, you will lose altitude very quickly. The Cessna 170 you cannot do slips with full flaps because it will block the elevator. But these kind of turns you got to come real slow, coordinated, because you're landing on a turn. These are quite challenging. Also, in the case of the tailwheel airplanes, you need to fly the rudder a lot more. Like for example on takeoff, tricycle gear, you are directing the wheel with your feet. These airplanes, as soon as the tail is up, you are giving all the direction with the rudder. Here I'm flying the Cessna 182 into Sirena, Corcovado National Park in Costa Rica. This has been great training to be on the spot because this is a very narrow airstrip, so I'm flying the rudder a lot on this kind of landing. I want to land straight because there's not much room to the sides. Here is Jughead following me, filming the landing at the pumpkin patch in Washington. You can see closely at the end, close to turning to final, the rudder movements. They're not a lot, just I want to keep coordinated all the time. I'm leading the turn with rudder in this landing. Hicken State Airport in Washington. This gusty, windy day, you can see the airspeed indicator fluctuating. I hear from very experienced pilots that it is good to correct not only with aileron but also rudder. So I've been practicing that and it really works. So something to practice when you have windy days, also to correct and leave the wind with rudder. I want to clarify that I am not a flight instructor, so I like to practice a lot and fly a lot and experiment. If I have a tool that can help, I try to use it. During a perfect landing, the airplane's heading corresponds precisely with its track, and this track is aligned straight down the runway. No matter how hard we try, unfortunately, landings are not always perfect. And this is a challenge about aviation. We never stop learning and we can be humbled at any moment. The most important use of the rudder is to prevent yaw. Unless it is on purpose or you are performing aerobatics, you should never allow the airplane to turn about the yaw axis. This is a landing in the Cessna 170. You can see clearly the mini slip indicator in front of the angle of attack indicator. So that way I'm just looking outside during the whole approach and I try to keep the airplane absolutely coordinated. That's why the mini slip indicator helps. Just glance now and then and just corroborate there you are really coordinated. Once you feel it, is because you are really uncoordinated. We all can remember when we were student pilots, the instructor telling us, step on the ball. It is very important to fly coordinated. Not only safer, but you can get the most performance out of your airplane. I also fly a CJ6 Nanchang military trainer. The propeller turns the other way, so I have to apply left rudder on takeoff or maneuvers that require fighting the torque. For example, here I'm doing some maneuvers and I try to keep coordinated. Mini slip indicator is very useful, especially during aerobatics. It is very easy to get uncoordinated during these maneuvers. Propeller turning the other way, you will get used to it after a few flights. Not a big problem, but this airplane has more torque, more power, so can get very easily uncoordinated, especially while doing aerobatics. In this plane I find the mini slip indicator very useful because it doesn't give you as much feedback as the lighter weight perfect. Something very important is when doing stalls. It is a must to be coordinated or you can develop a spin. Make sure when practicing stalls, step on the ball and be coordinated. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's short for all what we can learn about flying the rudder. Just remember, stay coordinated, have fun, be safe, and if you want to support Backcountry 182 YouTube channel, please join me on Patreon. See you next time. It is very easy to join, to be a patron of Backcountry 182. Go to the YouTube channel. On the right hand side there is the link, and then it takes you to the Patreon page. Here you can see all the tiers and what is all about the support for Backcountry 182 YouTube channel. Also, another way to access the Patreon link is in the description of the video I put in YouTube on Backcountry 182 channel. There is a link for Patreon, so just click on that and it will take you to the page. Thank you for watching. It would be amazing if you guys are interested and give some support.